Hey everyone, it's Andrea from AC Health Solutions. I'm going to talk a little bit about recovery after a race. And I'm going to try and put some context onto the different type of races that we may have. For example, we might have an A race, a B race, just a practice race, or it could be that end of season race, which usually is our A race. So to put a bit of context on it, normally before a race, we're going to have a bit of a taper week. And the taper week is really important for repair, recovery, and preparation. Okay? So then we have our race, and then usually after that, we might have an easy day or a recovery day, or for some of us, we might be straight back into training again. Some of us have a lot of races, and they'll be very frequently. Or we might even have multi-stage races, or even we might have even two events in one day, although for endurance athletes that I'm generally speaking to right now, that's more unusual, unless you're completely nuts. So you might have a week at a minimum between events, or you may have a month between events. So all of this is really, really important when you try and put a bit of context on how important is your recovery and what should you be doing. So let's assume that we have a fairly decent taper into our race. I believe this is where your recovery starts. So you want to be well recovered, well fueled, well fed, well glycogen loaded before you go into that race. This is going to limit and help prevent the amount of damage that you do during the event, provided that you follow this on with having a good fueling strategy during the event. Some events may even lean themselves towards using a bit of protein on course, and this is going to limit the muscle damage that is expected even further, which is going to be really, really helpful for you. But if we can assume that you've prepared well and that you have fueled well during the event, then you've stood yourself to the best advantage for already having better recovery after the event. Whereas if you get all of these pieces wrong, you don't well glycogen load, you don't have a good taper week, you don't eat well before your race, you don't eat well during the race, you don't hydrate well during the race, you are going to be in a whole world of muscle soreness and fatigue, and possibly even pick up an upper respiratory tract infection as a consequence of this. So it pays to make sure you're well prepared for your event. So now we want to look at, well, what do I do after the event? And it depends. Not everyone is hungry for a start. I know for me personally, I do not want to look at, for one, a carbohydrate, two, anything sweet or sugary. And actually, my tummy needs a little bit of time to settle down. That's okay, provided I don't have a very important day for training the following day or an event very, very close. So for people that have stomach issues, well, firstly, if you have stomach issues, you need to look at what might have gone wrong during your race strategy so that we can look to improve this. Could you have taken on board too much fructose, or was the product too concentrated? Or did you just not like the taste of it? Or could there be anything going on within the gut that led to more carbohydrate fermentation? Or was your intensity off? Was there certain factors where you might have gotten dehydrated, started to get fuel in too late, where there could have been nausea, vomiting, etc., etc.? So firstly, you need to look at all of that. But if you're just not hungry, then let your stomach kind of settle down, wait till the appetite naturally kicks in. Then you want to get some protein in to start the muscle recovery. Your most important foods are going to be your antioxidants from your plants, your anti-inflammatory nutrients from your foods like ginger and turmeric. Any of your plant foods are going to be helpful to provide antioxidants and anti-inflammatory nutrients. And you want to make a choice that gives you a lot of minerals, so healthy whole grains, or more nutrition dense carbohydrates. They're sort of what you're looking for, but let your appetite dictate how you sort of eat them. Like for me, I'll get the protein in somehow, then I'll kind of move on to more balanced meals. And by the end of the day, when my appetite really kicks in, actually I start craving a load of Vegetables, which might be strange for some, but I guess that's my body looking for the antioxidants and anti-inflammatory nutrients and things to help with my recovery process, and fats, which are helpful for cell membrane, for your hormones. So pay attention to your cravings if they're healthy ones. So what if you haven't got that much time for recovery? Well, then it's crucial that we try to get something into you. The sooner the better, and the more easily it is absorbed into your system, the better. So we're talking liquids. It could be a type of like chocolate milk, protein milk. It could be a whey protein product. It could be a 3 or 4:1 carbohydrate and protein product. So if you really have done quite a significant endurance event, you want to get protein and carbs in. So I would try and get those both in your liquid form, and then within an hour again start to eat a proper solid meal that has some protein, one that suits your tummy. For some, they want red meat, for others chicken, for others fish, for others eggs. Really, go with what suits you. You want some carbohydrates that are quite gentle on your tummy. I think I have a dog out there doing something that they shouldn't be doing. I'll go assess the situation shortly. Beagles. So you want to have carbohydrates that suit your system, that are quite gentle. So rice, basmati rice, polenta can be quite gentle on the tummy. Potato, mashed potato. They're sort of ones that work quite well and will glycogen replenish quite efficiently. If you have a mega event quite quickly, you might want to add some more simple straight sugars. So then, provided you've got the nutrition in, I would have no issue with you having some jellies or some fruit, or things like meringue, which would have quite a lot of sugar in there, homemade rice cakes, health bars, etc., etc. Nougat is one that we would use quite often in our house for even. Words gone out of my mind. It'll come back to me. Marshmallows. That's it. So it all depends on, how urgent, how quickly, what's coming next. If you have a really significant training session coming up, I would consider it the same way, where you need to get the fueling back in quite quickly. If it's your last race of the season, honestly, knock yourself out. Have whatever you want. Treat yourself, enjoy yourself, have the beer, have the wine. Oh, this is what I deal with on a daily basis. I don't know what she has, but I'll go figure it out in a while. So, yeah, it's important mentally to have fun if it's your last race. And that means just have whatever you want. It could be healthy, it could be less healthy, but you need to give yourself that mental break before you kick into a bit of a recovery week and downtime. The fun. You can't go constantly. It's going to ruin your head. It's going to ruin your body. Have I covered everything there? The more good stuff you can get in, the better. That's where the colorful fruit and veg are going to be so helpful to get in the good stuff. Your ginger, your turmeric, your spices, your herbs. So make good choices. If you want to have a little bit of something that you really want, we'll try and add some more good choices to that. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. Specific things that could help: glutamine, creatine, bitter cherry. You could have your turmeric extract. The verdict is kind of mixed on taking antioxidant supplements. So you're better off doing it as naturally as possible. But things like coenzyme Q10 could be pretty helpful. HMB, but look, I really feel you can do things with food far better than needing fancy supplements. The fancy supplements have an amazing effect if you've got a